What's up guys, Marais here with Marai's Mobile Mechanics and welcome to the channel. Today I'm working on a 2012 Chevy Malibu. This is a 2.4 liters 4-cylinder engine and we are doing a valve cover job, and maybe we'll be doing an oil change. Last night as I talked to the customer, they said the oil change is due, but when I ran the car it was showing 74% of oil life. So I'm gonna hold on to the oil because the customer right now is actually working. They are in their own apartment and I'm here outside fixing their car at their doorstep. So you should consider having a reliable mobile mechanic where they'll come to you, take care of you while you're also sorting out other things. So today we are doing a valve cover job. I did check this vehicle. It's going to need quite a number of things. It's going to need the outer tie rods, motor mounts, control arms and sway bar links. So for now we're just doing the valve cover and they'll be doing it in stages. So let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll take off the oil cap. We need to take off this engine cover, and then on the side right here there's a clamp. We have to take that out. I think it's a 8. We're going to use the extension. You can see my connection right there with the M12, and then we're also going to take off this clamp right here, the same 8mm socket, and then we're going to take off this clamp. We'll use a plus. So let me get those out and then we'll go from there. What's up guys, so with the engine cover off, you can see now the valve cover is actually exposed and you can see it's all nasty. It's been leaking crazy, especially in the back. I don't know if you're able to see, but you can see it is all weight in the back right there, and that's why we are replacing it even on the sides right there. So this is the clamp I was talking about, the hose clamp. This is the one that holds the engine cover to the throttle body right there. Why they did that, no one knows. So we are going to put back our oil cap so that nothing falls in there. So for now, before we go crazy, I'll try to blow off all this debris around the valve cover so that we do not have too much dirty or too much cleaning once the valve cover is out. So to do the blowing, I'm going to use this small blower. These are pretty handy in times or in cases of situations like this. So I am going to use this blower. I'll leave the link in the description, and then let's clean this top valve cover and then we'll go from there. So you can see how nasty it is. We'll see how this blower will take care of this job. So let's see what it's gonna do and then we'll go from there. What's up guys, so the small fan has done actually wonders. It has blown out all the loose debris, all the bed poop and pretty much whatever stuff was there. What is remaining right now, this will be taken care of by the brake clean. So pretty much it has done what it is intended to. All this grimy greasy stuff, you see that will come off with brake clean. So we're going to clean this valve cover pretty good once we take it out, and then we go from there. What's up guys, so with the valve cover exposed, there's a bunch of things that need to come out of the way so that we have a good working space. So what we're going to do is, you see this wiring right here, we are going to unhook it from right there, also right there, and then also right there in the back. We are going to disconnect the wiring or connectors going to the intake and exhaust VVTi solenoids. This is the intake one, this is the actually exhaust. We're also going to disconnect the connectors going to the ignition coils. I've disconnected these 3. You have to be very gentle. For an old car they become brittle and break, so we'll be gentle. I'll show you how to disconnect on this one. I left it so that I show you how it comes out. We're also going to unhook this wiring from right here and right there, and then I believe we're going to disconnect this connector right there as well. And then when we come this side, we're going to take off this bracket for the fuel line. That's a 10mm bolt right there. And then if you look on the side right there, I don't know if you're able to see, but yeah, these 2 bolts, this is these are 13s. This is for the lifting hook for the engine, and then for the page solenoid there's a bracket as well. It's a 13 bolt right there. So we'll take that out and every wiring that's in the way. So let me do that and then we go from there. I wanted to point out, so one thing I came across, you see this vacuum line that goes to the engine cover right here. It is cracked. We'll let the customer know with time they become brittle. It's rubber, you know. So let me show you how to take this connector from the ignition coil. I've disconnected these three. I just want to show you how it comes out, and I'll show you how to be gentle, because with time they become brittle. So to avoid breaking them, I'm going to do it and show you how you should do it. So essentially what you're supposed to do is grab yourself a small screwdriver like this, work your tab away, back it off slowly until you get to this point, like the way it is right here. Let me try to focus right there. Yeah, back it off, because this is the locking tab. Back it off until it gets to that point, and then grab yourself a small screwdriver, wedge it to lift that clamp right there. Pressing here, I'm risking breaking. These things are brittle, so I went in with a screwdriver, lifted this locking tab from there, that it locks at that point right there on the ignition coil. So lift it up with a tiny screwdriver and then pull it, and it comes off all the way easily. This is just to avoid breaking the connectors and stuff like that. And then to take this wiring off from wherever they are on their tabs, we're going to use this door panel too. So let me do that and then we go from there. What's up guys? So with most of the wiring disconnected, now you can see we got a little bit of room to work with. So now I'm going to actually disconnect this coolant line. You can see it connects from right there and it goes all the way to the coolant reservoir. We'll disconnect it from there so that we can route it to come off the way, and then we'll take off our solenoids right here. It's a 10, and then we'll take off the ignition coils. I hope they're not soaked in oil. So let me do that and then we go from there. So I just wanted to point out, when I put out the bolt for the ignition coil number 2, you can see it is actually wet. So I believe one of the ignition coils should be soaked in oil, but I will see. So right now I'll go ahead and take the ignition coils out and the solenoids, and then we go from there. So the ignition coils are pretty decent. The only one I saw which was a little bit wet was the number 3. Nothing too crazy, so we should be good. So right now we'll go ahead and take off all the bolts that are around the valve cover. Let me count them and then I'll show them to you. So we got 12 bolts in total that goes around the valve cover. So I'm going to take them off and then we go from there. So with all the 12 bolts loose, this valve cover has been there for quite a long time. Maybe this is actually the first time we're changing it, so it's not going to budge. It's not going to come out pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we are going to use these two. This is very good for oil pans and valve cover removal. I'll leave the link in the description below. This tool is by Laos, so I will show you how we are going to take this valve cover out. We are going to wedge it on the edge right there and then tap it with the mallet hammer, and this valve cover should actually come out. What's up, guys? So the valve cover is out. You can see we got a lot of cleaning to do. I don't know how we are going to clean in the middle there, because we have to make sure nothing falls in these solenoid holes. So we'll block them with paper towel or a rag and then clean the surrounding. And then let's just walk around this engine. With the mileage it has, I can tell you they've been using cheaper quality oil. You can see the carbon buildup on the camshafts. If they've been using clean, good oil, this engine was going to be clean. It's decent for its mileage, and then they could have avoided all these if they've been using good quality oil. I also don't like the slack in the timing chain. You can see that. So very soon they are gonna need a timing job, but that's up to the customer. I'll just raise that to them. But you can see how dark the engine looks. You can see the camshafts at the end, they've got a lot of carbon buildup. This is because they've been using cheap quality oil, and this is to the quick lube places. People like going to where it's cheap. They don't know what quality of oil they should be using. So I can prove that to you. We can take a look at the sticker right there. That sticker will tell you a lot, and it should tell you what kind of oil they've been using in your car. So avoid quick lube places to make sure your engine is protected and taken care of. So you can see these pieces are brittle. They're just breaking off. This has remained on the valve cover. It was supposed to come off together with, on the engine side, it was supposed to come off with the valve cover. You can see it's just breaking. So let me take that off camera, and then let me also show you how the valve cover is looking on top. We're going to clean that. Let me flip it and show you the gasket. This is the one. You can see it is just too brittle, so we'll put the good one, and then I'll show you how it goes in. First, we're going to clean this bad boy. We're also going to clean off this matting surface. Make sure it's clean. Just take a look at how it looks, and then how it will look after I cleaned it. We're going to use brake clean. So let me take off these two pieces, clean the surrounding, and then go from there. What's up, guys? So you can see I've cleaned the matting surface. It looks awesome compared to the way it looked. It looked a whole lot better now. So what we are going to do is we're going to cover it, protecting it from stuff from falling inside as we clean the valve cover up top. Now with our engine covered, we are good to go to clean the upper valve cover, and then we'll go from there. What's up, guys? So this is the upper valve cover. You can see right here it is facing upside down. Let me flip it and show you how dirty it is. So we are going to clean that, and then we are also going to take out the bolts. We are going to replace these rubber grommets. We got some in the valve cover kit, and this is the part number for the valve cover kit right here. It comes with the gasket, and then it comes with these rubber grommets. So I'm gonna take this out. All you have to do is just pull them off and then switch the new grommets on. I'll show you how the new grommet looks on the bolts. So I'm gonna do this off camera, and then I'll bring you guys back. So I'm gonna show you on how to replace the rubber grommets for the bolts for just one. It's gonna be the same process with the rest. So all you have to do is just pull it, force it, let it come out. Grab yourself a tiny screwdriver, push it from the back like so. You can actually just they become brittle with time, so they'll give you a little bit of a hard time. It comes off just like so. You can see not too bad, but it's brittle. We're going to wipe off this one, and then we are going to install a new one. Just slide it in there just like so. Just like so, and then you got your rubber grommet replaced. So that's how it goes with the rest. I wanted to show you on one. What's up, guys? So there's also these rubber grommets for the bolts that locks the ignition coils in place. All you have to do is push it from the bottom. It should fall from this side, and this is how it looks. So I'm going to show you how this one also is replaced. All you gotta do is grab yourself a small screwdriver. Again, you can actually go from the back just like so. Go from the back and then just work yourself out, pry it out, wipe it off. Then all you gotta do is squeeze in the new rubber grommet just like so. And you're going to do the same with the remaining three. So I just wanted to point out on that, and then that's all it takes. What's up, guys? So now the valve cover gasket, the ignition coil gasket, and the ignition coil bolts rubber grommets and the washers are good to go together with the bolts. First, I'm going to blow every debris that's in there, so I'll make sure everything is good to go. What's up, guys? So you can see our gasket is back on, and all the bolts are back on. Also the gasket for the middle. So right now we're going to install these rubber grommets from the bottom. They should be locked in there since the gasket is for the middle right now. What's up, guys? So it's time to install the valve cover. So right now I'm gonna take off our rags that we did put so that nothing falls in the engine. We'll put them on the side. We'll take off our paper towels, the one that we blocked the inlet and outlet solenoids right there. I'm gonna wipe off what remained right there. It is good to go. So remember I talked about the timing chain. You can see this piece is actually bent. You can see right there. It's gonna break anytime. So let me show you what I did find after cleaning the valve cover. You see those marks, those two marks? This is because of this piece right here. So we'll let the customer know, and then we should be good to go. What's up, guys? So everything is good to go, but like I said earlier on, you can see this chain has been stretched due to prolonged oil changes and cheap oil changes that people go to these cheap quick lube places. So on right here we have a timing chain guide. You can see this one is broken. There should be a guide, plastic guide right here. This one got eaten up, and then the chain was actually flapping, eating into the metal. So that was a good catch. That was a good catch, definitely, because imagine if I didn't pay attention, which means I was gonna put the valve cover back on, and if this piece breaks and falls inside the engine, the engine is gone. And you know what you know what's gonna happen? The last mechanic to touch the vehicle is the one that messed up, and then you get a bad name and stuff like that. So I just want to point out, make sure when you're working on people's cars, pay extra attention to things like this. Be detailed, because if you miss this, then definitely this engine was going to go bad. Immediately this piece breaks off, you can see it's got a cut right here. It was almost going. If this piece breaks, falls in the engine, that's the end of the engine. So we got the new one. Of course, I did talk to the customer. I told him I'll give him an estimate on the timing change job. So $40 oil change to $1,000 job. So make sure you actually look for a good reputable place that values your business, and then they'll take care of you in a good way. So we have this new chain guide. It's got a plastic. This will go by pretty much soon, but I let the customer know. So let me show you the part number. That's the part number right there, and that's the brand right there. So pretty easy to install. It's just 2 bolts, one there and one there, and it sits just right there. So let me do that, and then I'll bring you guys back. What's up, guys? So with the chain guide installed, we are going to install the valve cover. So pretty much the valve cover, once the gasket is installed on the valve cover and the rubber grommets on all the bolts, when you flip it upside down, the bolts are not supposed to fall down because of those rubber grommets. So right now I'll go ahead and install this valve cover, and then we're just gonna fast forward just to make the video not too long, since we know how it came out. Pretty much the way it goes back in is the opposite orientation. So let me do that, and then we get the job done. What's up, guys? So with all the bolts seated for the valve cover, we are going to torque them to 89 foot-pounds. So I'm going to leave the link in the description for this digital torque wrench. So let me torque them. There's no pattern, so we'll work ourselves outwards, and then that's pretty much it. What's up, guys? So after torquing the valve cover, we are going to install the ignition coils, connect them to the ignition wires, and then we're also going to install the 2 solenoids. We'll start with the intake one, which is gray, and then the exhaust should be black. So we'll install those, and then we'll bolt our bracket back on for the page solenoid, and the one for the fuel line, and the one for the lifting up the engine. If you're doing an engine job, we'll connect the pipe and then the coolant line back on, and then I got a different pipe. The one that broke right here, this is vacuum hose. We're going to improvise with this one. So let me go ahead and do that one, and then we should be back. They should be torqued to the same 89 foot-pound, the same with the solenoids and the bolts on the side of the engine. So let me do that, and then we get the job going. What's up, guys? So the valve cover and everything is connected back on. The only thing remaining is this vacuum hose that broke off. So we are going to improvise with this one, and then we'll see how we're going to actually modify it to the plastic engine cover that goes to the throttle body. So let me do that, and then we'll go from there. What's up, guys? So pretty much everything is back on. The hose right there, the plastic engine cover also plugged onto the throttle body right there, and everything is good to go. So pretty much that's what it takes to do a valve cover job on a 2012 Chevy Malibu 2.4 liters 4-cylinder engine. And pretty much that's what it takes. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. Please subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you on the next one.